What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show and welcome to Satan's summer home, otherwise known as Texas. It is currently 600,000 degrees outside, more or less. I walk outside and my boots melt to the asphalt, and there are days where I just don't feel like putting on a motorcycle jacket. And when I opt to ride like that, I usually go for something like my Climb armored shirt and a dirt jersey because it's better than nothing. The only problem is that Climb armored shirt, it's not particularly protective. And were I to go down, I'd have some problems. But thankfully, I have this now. This right here is the Alpinestars Tech-air off-road airbag vest. And this is the coolest piece of motorcycle safety technology I have ever worn. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you have been hearing about airbag technology trickling down from professional racing, be it MotoGP or the Dakar Rally, where the safety orgs and FIM have mandated that you as a racer are wearing some sort of impact protection, because not only does it keep you safer, but it keeps you on the bike and it keeps you racing. And at the end of the day, any racing organization would be nothing without its riders. Now, I know a lot of people look at that and they're like, well, those guys are going really fast and I'm just poodling around on the street. Well, sure, but wouldn't you want a 95% reduction in impact force if you were to go down on your motorcycle? That is exactly why Alpinestars has been pushing their new Tech-air platform. And it's important here that I give you a bit of disclosure. Revzilla has actually sponsored this video, and they sent me this Alpinestars Tech-air off-road vest for me to wear and test out. I've been riding in this thing for almost a month straight now, and I refuse to get on the bike without it because it is A, super comfortable, and B, an invaluable safety net. But I could stand here and yammer on endlessly about how cool this thing is, but let's dive into some actual hard data on what makes this thing so special.
There's almost no escaping airbag content on the interwebs right now, and it's a topic I've been dying to dip my toes into for a while. There's all kinds of options, from the Honda Goldwing, which is the first motorcycle to have an onboard airbag, to Dainase's Harley Airbag Cut. Yes, you heard me right. Dainase, of all companies, makes a cut specifically badged for brothers. Alpinestars has the Tech-air 3, but you know dentists cosplaying as pirates want the Harley branded one. And then there's the Helite tethered systems, which Ryan from Fortnite has been praising endlessly. I'm gonna do something right now that I know is going to incur the wrath of the internet, but you know what? I just don't care. Ryan is wrong to back the Helite system. Now, before you sharpen those pitchforks and light the torches because I happen to say something negative about motorcycle YouTube's goodest boy, let me state my case. He is 100% right that airbags are the biggest safety advancement since the helmet. But one of the most common kinds of motorcycle accidents involves the motorcycle alone. In 2020, of the 5,579 fatal crashes recorded by the NHTSA, 2,158 died by losing control and hitting something. Sure, you could smack into a solid object like 25% of riders did, and that tethered system will cover you. But what about a low side? In a low side, you won't reach the end of your tether until after you've already hit the ground. And a lot like comedy, the key to a good airbag system is timing. That's why the Tech-air system is superior. It can detect a wreck as it's happening and deploy faster than the blink of an eye before you hit the ground.
But what about sitting still, you say? I saw a video that Ryan made that said that it wouldn't deploy below 15 miles an hour or when GPS signal is lost. Well, thankfully, Alpinestars thought of that as well.
The Tech-air vests are the only system that can deploy when it senses a rear-end style collision from some soccer mom or dad, because being a dummy is an equal opportunity job, who runs into you while they're texting and sipping on a latte. And you don't have to worry about GPS signals because the Tech-air system is entirely enclosed within the vest. It uses onboard sensors to detect crashes, not GPS. There's also a haptic sensor on board that buzzes when the system is armed, and it happens before you even hop on the bike. There's no signal loss and there is no lapse in coverage. And for those of you who are about to talk about battery life, a fully charged battery lasts for 30 hours, and the recharge time only costs you 4 hours. So charging the battery for 1 hour gets you roughly 8 hours of riding time. But chiefly for me, there is no subscription model. Climb. Bad climb. Go sit in the corner and think about what you've done. Charging a subscription for your safety is some late-stage capitalist dystopia bullshit if I've ever heard it. And yeah, I know it's In Motion, not Climb, but Climb put their name on it so they can go ahead and pound sand.
Now, while this is all well and good, what makes the Tech-air off-road so special?
First, it's got built-in passive armor, like a normal chest rig. Second, it carries 2 independent cylinders, so you can have 2 separate inflations. Third, the canisters are self-serviceable, meaning you can replace them in seconds with an included tool. And frankly, you don't actually need the tool anyway. Fourth, you get 4 independent deployments before Alpinestars recommends sending it in to be serviced.
Only 4? You crash off-road all the time, right?
True, riding off-road and crashing go together like drinking a fifth of bourbon and texting former girlfriends. It's just an unfortunate reality. But the Tech-air off-road has 3 riding modes: street, enduro, and rally, each with their own thresholds and algorithms that govern deployment, which actually gives me a good segue to getting out on the road.
Now, pulling away with the Tech-air off-road on, I actually have it in street mode because that's the beauty of this vest. And I would like to point out here, this is not how I would recommend riding with this thing. I am just currently not wearing my jacket because I wanted you guys to be able to see the vest as I'm riding down the road. The best thing I could say about this thing, especially without a jacket over it, is that I don't really feel like I'm wearing a bunch of armor. If you've ever ridden with something like the Fox Racing Titan rig, or I think Icon and Alpinestars have just a total passive chest rig. They're very comfortable and they flow a ton of air. And this thing is very similar. The biggest difference is under the main chest plate here and the back plate. That's where the bulk of the airbag actually is. So right here, it's not really flowing a ton of air, but because there's so much of this stretch mesh everywhere else, you really aren't gonna notice the difference, honestly. I really like that this doesn't restrict my range of motion at all. I can move through the corners just like I would if I was wearing a normal jacket. I don't feel like it's any bulkier than the average armor pads that I have in any of my A-Stars jackets, any of my speed and strength jackets. They're all about that same size. I don't feel like I'm wearing something on top of it. But because this has the hydration pack in the back, I don't have to wear a backpack. I absolutely despise riding with a backpack on. It's not comfortable. So like, I never ever carry water with me, but because it's just on the pouch back there, it's just win-win. I can have water on me at all times and not notice it. Alrighty, it is dry as a popcorn fart out here, so I'm letting the rally guys get ahead of me. But now that we're in ostensibly the dirt, I've got my Tech-air off-road set into its off-road or enduro mode. Now, the reason why this is a fun trick for us normies out there is you can actually use this in, your single track environments or your nice flowy adventure roads. This is definitely the kind of riding I do most of the time. But I do hit some twin track and I do hit some single track, and it is nice to have a specific algorithm designed to let me drop the motorcycle at slow speeds and rely on the armor that this jacket has built in. Because what's the point of having built-in armor if every single time you drop the motorcycle, the airbag deploys? So having that specifically tuned algorithm allowing me to, if I have a slow speed whoopsie daisy, not consume one of my canisters is actually really nice. That's a great idea, and it's part of the reason why I specifically wanted the Tech-air Off-Road versus something like the Tech-air 5. The Tech-air 5 is arguably more versatile. It could fit under a tracksuit, it could fit under just about any jacket out there, and it can go off-road. It's a really great option for somebody out there who's doing a lot of ADV work, but who's also doing every other kind of riding under the sun. For me, I would prefer just having the Tech-air Off-Road on the street under my jacket, and then if I'm going to go to the racetrack, get something like the Tech-air 7, which is specifically designed for sport applications. For those of y'all who are wondering, there ain't no way I'm getting this under a race suit. Maybe if you were a thinner human than I, you'd be able to get it done, but me, nuh-uh.
But the main reason I chose this thing is because it has passive armor for when you are out of airbag charges. I actually took this thing to Canada and did 5 days of off-road riding without the cartridges in there, which again, we'll talk about why in another video. But I wore this thing as a passive armor chest rig, and it did way better than my previous Fox racing rig. This is functionally an Alpinestars dirt rig with an airbag built in. And because the passive armor in here is so good, I can take the armor out of my jackets and wear them as an outer slide layer, and then have this thing underneath ready to rock and roll and protect me in the event that I go down. Now, you heard me a second ago mention that review video, which is coming, and in there I'm going to talk a lot more about the pricing. And you may be thinking that this is an expensive garment, and it is, but so's your helmet, so's your jacket, and so's your boots, and so's your gloves. There's no two ways around it. Motorcycle gear is just expensive, and it adds up, but this thing can go through several crashes and still be good. So in that sense, I see it as an investment in your safety. But that's where I'm gonna pass the question off to you guys. What do you think about the Tech-air system here? Is this something that you're interested in picking up and riding with? Do you look at something like a fully autonomous system like this, or do you want a tethered system for your ride? Keep an eye out for that full month review on this piece, because there's actually a lot to talk about here that I could not fit into this video. A huge shout out to the folks over at Revzilla for sponsoring this video. And I can positively say here at the end that you will not see me riding on a motorcycle without this or some other airbag system underneath or over top of one of my jackets, because honestly, nothing is gonna beat this. And with that, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.